Nigeria Info.
Welcome back. Still Hard Facts, 92.3 Nigeria Info. Thanks for staying with us. Democracy Day it is, the 12th of June, 2025. June 12, as we like to call it. And my conversation is, what is missing in Nigeria's democracy? I said earlier that my personal opinion, of course, is representation. I did my best to explain it the best way I could. But my guest is in the studio. He is an educator, a politician, an analyst, and a lot of things, really. Dr. Gift Worlu is right here with me. Hello, Dr. Gift.
Good evening, Sam.
How you doing, sir?
Happy Democracy Day.
Yes, I wish you the same. How... I'm trying not to ask any of the cliche questions, but what's the mood with the Democracy Day?
I would think that Nigerians are not very upbeat. And it's understandable. You know, democracy... it's a system of promise.
Okay.
Yeah, it promises rights, freedoms, and all the other things that we consider as dividends of democracy, including better economy, better security, better education, healthcare, and so on and so forth. Better air, fresh air for people to breathe, and all of that. So when, after 26 years of the practice of democracy, it will appear that those things that were promised have not been fulfilled, you expect that people will be a little bit downcast. But I am, as a person, I believe that being downcast is a legitimate expression, but doing something about your situation is more important. We must understand first what democracy is, how to practice it, and we must practice it as appropriately and effectively as possible for it to begin to deliver those much expected dividends.
Okay.
You know, if I'm to answer your question or to join the argument about what is missing in our democracy, I would say that if we go back to that popular definition by Abraham Lincoln, where he talked about democracy being government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And here we're talking about of the people of Nigeria. Right? We're not talking about democracy in America.
Yeah.
We're talking about democracy of the people of Nigeria. So that one is there. Then government for the people of Nigeria is also there.
Okay.
Because the outcome that we have is affecting the people of Nigeria.
Supposed to be for the benefit.
Yeah, it's supposed to be for the benefit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but whatever you have, you know, when you do business, you either make profit or loss. So let's say our own is loss instead of profit.
Okay.
But the thing that is missing now is the buy.
Okay.
Because the buy is what is missing by the people of Nigeria. The people who are supposed to operate this democracy, to work, to deliver the gain, have failed to do so. And it is not only those who are in government, it is all Nigerians, because the people who are in government are also drawn from among the people of Nigeria.
Dr. Worlu, you know, whenever we have these conversations, you find a way to make it a collective responsibility. And you also find a way to hold the people accountable for their own part in the problem.
Yes.
And while I completely agree, sometimes the contract failed because the contractor did not deliver.
Yes.
So, you supplying chippings or nail or whatever.
Yes.
I have a building. Say, Dr. Worlu. They say, you are credible, tested, trusted, reliable. They say, he's the one. Even when I built my house, based on that confidence and referral, I say, okay, see what I'm building, see what I need. you give me quote, I pay you. The thing did not come on time, or it came, it did not do the job. If now you are now saying, but Sam, you know that your responsibility in this country, I say yes now, but I fulfilled my own end. For this particular problem, you are the one with the problem. So,
Sam, do you know that the decision to choose a contractor is sine qua non to the success of the contract?
He does that.
No, I'm telling you.
Yeah, it is.
So when you are making that decision and you choose the wrong contractor, what do you think will happen? You know, Nigerians will even tell you that, we didn't choose the contractor when it suits them. So how did the contractor get to site? Who gave him the materials with which he started working? Who released money to the contractor?
But the process of choosing the contractor has not changed. It is referral. If you eat somewhere and you say, that woman fish good, we don't need to vote.
And your
referral alone, your recommendation is enough.
And you believed me. You know that I'm somebody who is good in eating good food.
Exactly.
And I know where they sell good food.
It is my turn now. The thing no come sweet as it is sweet.
So who do you blame? You blame yourself for relying on me. You relied on me. Sam, let's look at it this way.
Okay.
Democracy can be looked at like a beautiful bride.
Okay.
Right? All of us, we attend weddings. We have made Saturdays the day for weddings in Nigeria. Now you go for a wedding and you see a beautiful woman being handed over to a man.
From father to husband.
Yes. Now, it is with and then people are saying that in the next 9 months or thereabout, we'll be coming back for what? Naming ceremony and all of that. Do you know why they are saying so? Because they assume and believe that as they live, there will be honeymoon and other things will continue that will culminate in pregnancy, and then eventually after 9 months there will be delivery.
Yeah.
Now, what if that doesn't happen?
Yeah.
If those things don't happen, if there's no honeymoon, if the man is impotent, if the man does not take the wife to bed for whatever reason, at the end of 9 months, nothing will come out. As they say in Nigeria, nothing come out. So what we have as our problem is that, fine, democracy is a beautiful thing. And that's why I said we should localize it. It's the democracy of Nigeria. There's nothing wrong with democracy. All over the places, people practice democracy and it works for them. And there are other places too where it doesn't work, including Nigeria. But the reason is because of the people of Nigeria, both the leaders and the led. Because if I tell you this, Sam, Nigerians don't see democracy beyond the election. It's during the election period and on election day that most Nigerians suddenly realize that there is democracy in Nigeria.
I agree to a certain extent.
Yes, but that's what happens. Because even when you see voter apathy in Nigeria, some people explain it away to say, it's because votes will not count. Do you know that there are many Nigerians who don't have their PVCs up to today? So that even if votes will count, they are not going to participate. There are people who don't go to election because they heard, and they were told that election is all about violence. The people who are doing that violence are human beings. If you are interested in your country, you should be ready to die for Nigeria. And if you die, so be it. We have a situation where people who are supposed to ask questions, you say, okay, fine, a legislator is supposed to come back home, call a town hall, address people and all of that. Sam, I have been in some of those town halls, and people will not open their mouth to say jack. They are waiting for whatever is happening to finish, and then if there is transport money. The legislator has come home, has called the town hall, has raised issues, and is expecting feedback from the people, and nobody wants to say anything because they don't want to be singled out as the ones who raise the critical questions. At some other point, we have a situation where some people manage to ask those questions, and then the legislator or the people in government may not pay attention to what they are saying, and so it is us our inability as Nigerians to manage our democratic affairs that has kept us where we are.
Okay, before you came in, I said that representation was the one thing, even though by my explanation it was broad. And you said you didn't completely agree. What parts of that did you not agree with?
Yes, one part of that I don't agree is that, you see, the people in government, not only legislators, everybody in government, whether the president, the legislators,
Executive,
the judiciary, and all of that, they are all representatives of the people.
Yeah, to some degree.
Yes. Now, it is assumed that the people have asked them to be their representatives. And then they now make a law. For example, let me give you an example. There's what is called NEL fund today.
Yeah, student loan.
Yeah, for student loan. Now, that money is out there for people who cannot afford to foot their education bills to access, so they can go to school and get education, to be job ready and to be future ready. Is that not the argument?
Yeah.
Fine. Now, if somebody goes, applies for the loan, collects the loan, gets registered in school, and then refuses to attend classes, or attends classes but doesn't pay attention, doesn't study as hard and as smart as they should, and at the end of the day, somehow they manage to have a certificate, and then they are unable to appear before interviewers with confidence, to defend their certificates, to demand the jobs that they need. Because I know that I can bet with my life that in this Nigeria Info, there are times that you people have looked for people to come work for Nigeria Info and you couldn't find. Not because people are no longer graduating from our universities, but because somewhere along the line, they are not employable. And when you say that a student is not employable, it is a problem of not only the student, it's a problem of the teachers, it's a problem of the parents, it's a problem of society as a whole. Because part of the reason why people will not pay attention to education today is that, does education really matter anymore in Nigeria in terms of what you can become? Because I can tell you that in the days of yore, if you were the most educated person in your community, you naturally became the leader of that community.
Yeah.
So people in those days, once you graduated from school, I remember when my elder brother graduated from Uniport, first class, in 1985. He was offered 3 different jobs on the same day. It was for him to choose which one to take. And over time, we now have a situation where somebody still graduates from the university and they are begging the person to say, come take a job, and he's running away because he cannot stand the interview.
Okay. Now, doctor, you have painted one picture, right? One instance which obviously cannot reflect the generality of that reality. And that picture is a NEL fund, the availability of a loan, the acquisition of that loan, and the failure on the part of the students, right, to pay their dues, whether it's attention in class or whatever. Now, there's another part, which is we did not ask for student loan, first of all.
Okay.
Right? Those who will say, no, this is not what we want. Because I'm one of those who is against student loan, personally. Then, there is those that we ask for student loan, but we cannot get it. Because the NEL fund now, there are cases now stating that federal government has released money, it's now with the schools, students have not seen it, and now they say, no, it's with federal government, it's with... So you have all of those who are willing, but they can't get it. Now, this is why I'm against student loan. I have, as I'm sure you do, almost every Nigerian now has a friend or someone they know that has jackpot. And for all these people who leave the country, you speak to them on the phone and they say, my brother, thank God, say we know they use loan, go school. Somebody is telling you that in the US or the UK, their counterparts are still paying their student loan of how many years ago, and is holding them back financially. But in Nigeria, with our subsidized education, we still, the education system is not good, it's not good.
Sammy, don't go there. You know why you shouldn't go there?
Tell me.
In spite of the student loan holding Americans back financially, America is still ahead of Nigeria.
True.
Fine. So what it tells you is that, for me, if you want to go to school and you have the will, you have the desire, you know what education can do, to your life. But the problem is that you don't have funding.
Resources,
Yes. And there is a loan for you to access to go to school.
No, there is a system, Dr. Worlu.
No, the same thing happens.
There could be incentives, not loans.
Sam, the same thing happens.
There could be incentives.
The same thing happens in business. You want to do business. You have to raise money to do business.
Indeed.
If you can get it from your parents, thank God. What if you can't get it from your parents? You have to approach a bank. But I can tell you that even in Nigeria, I know many people, instances where government floats grants, free money. Nigerians come and take this money, go into agriculture, go into hairdressing, go into decoration, interior decoration, do one thing or the other. The current representative of Obiakpo, the people of Obiakpo in the Federal House of Representatives, Kingsley Chinda, in the last 1 year has done at least 5 different programs of this nature, giving people starter packs to go start businesses and all of that. And in one occasion, I told them that perhaps the problem here is that we are not doing evaluation to find out whether people are really doing this thing and what results are they getting. What are the testimonials?
The problem.
So what happens is that this free money comes, somebody accesses it, uses the money to probably drink beer, enjoy life, eat bole and fish, and then wait for another round of disbursement of funds.
Doc.
And as these things continue to happen, and people are not doing what they're supposed to do with the money, those same people will come back later to complain
Doc,
that government has not done what government should do.
Now, imagine, right? I don't know if this is the reality, because I cannot speak to the initiative of Kingsley Chinda. But imagine that with that brilliant initiative that you've just stated, you now hear something like, then say if you know the PDP, you know fit follow get them.
Let the PDP people who got it come and show what they did with it.
Then say if
we
lose your PVC, come and take it.
Some of the people who are complaining,
these are the kind of stories
some of the people who are complaining that government is not doing anything are PDP and APC and the Labour Party members. They are the people who have accessed these things and still didn't do anything with it.
So if we are pointing fingers and trying to trade blames, and you say that it is a collective, the leader and the led,
all of us
are both at fault.
Yes.
The led are saying no, it's the leaders. The leaders are saying no, it's the led. That means the democracy is not working at all.
I have told you now that it is government.
It's not even working small.
It is government of the people to be operated by the people.
Okay.
And when you talk about the people, it is the led and the followers. The followers and the leaders. That's what constitutes the people.
So what do we, since everyone now has the problem now, do we stop practicing democracy? Do we mix democracy with another thing? Say, 40% democracy and 60% another thing?
If you look at democracy vis-a-vis other forms of government, you will agree with me that as you look around the world, let's say China, what China is practicing, China calls it democracy. But that's what Nigerians are crying now that they don't want in Nigeria, one party state. Is it working in China? The answer is yes. Why is it working in China? The people of China have made it to work. You go to America, the almighty beacon of democracy. Democracy works there. When you go to Britain, they have a democracy that is different from the American type of democracy. That it has element of monarchy and then the parliament and all of that. It still works for them, what they call parliamentary democracy. You come to Africa, in most part of Africa, you have different kinds of this, and then you even have pure dictatorships that work. Nigerians today are celebrating Traore in Burkina Faso. Why? Because there seems to be something that is working.
Yeah, but
Nigerians are celebrating Paul Kagame in Rwanda.
Wait.
A man who has refused to hand over power for how many?
Wait.
Yes.
Wait. Let me ask you this question, and I need you to answer in one statement. Do you think the government of Sankara was good or bad?
As a military.
No, leave us.
Was
his government good or bad?
No, you have to situate it. It was a military government.
It was a military government.
Yes. And
would you use the word?
Can you reject
word?
military rule and accept Sankara?
No, wait. Is
it possible?
Will you use the word dictator to describe Sankara, the person of Sankara? Will you call him a tyrant?
It was a dictatorship.
No, leave ship.
You cannot.
Was Sankara a dictator?
Yeah, to the extent that he took power not by popular votes. Okay. He was a dictator.
Okay, so the process
the same goes for Lee Kuan Yew of Singapore. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And several other people that sometimes we make reference to as
progressives.
Progressives and transformational leaders. But unfortunately, what they practice is not democracy. So what matters is not the system of government. It is the people being involved and committed to make it work.
Okay. So since we are not involved yet, because we are still at the point of blaming, leaders are blaming followers, followers are blaming leaders. And for 26 consecutive years, every time June 12 reach, we now say Happy Democracy Day. What do we now do now? Because now we agree, say, it's not my fault, it's your fault. Since we have not,
Sam,
where do we now go?
Sam, what we need to do is, if you plant a seed and maybe the seed manages to sprout and grows into a tree but refuses to produce fruit, do you understand?
Okay.
It means that there may be something wrong with the soil,
okay,
or with the seed that was planted, or with the amount of water in the soil, or whatever.
One of the factors.
Or sunlight. One of the factors.
Yeah.
Now, if you do or a combination of factors anyway. So if you do a proper critical examination of why is it that this thing that works in this place doesn't work here.
Yeah.
Right? This seed that I planted here, Okoro planted it in his compound. They are selling it and making money. I planted my own. I did everything that Okoro did. My own is not producing. Then there must be a problem.
Indeed.
Yes. When you know what that problem is and fix it, then perhaps your tree will begin to bear fruit.
Which is why I said the problem is representation.
No, the problem, if you ask me, is the lack of understanding on the part of Nigerians, both the leaders and the led.
Now hold that thought, Doctor. We have used up this hour. We'll take this break. I'll take the news at 5. This conversation continues in the next hour, and that's when you, the listener, gets to be a part of it. We're talking democracy. Please stay with us.
Nigeria Info.
Welcome back. It is still Hard Facts, 92.3 Nigeria Info. Sam Oracle Chinedu here. We're having a Democracy Day conversation. My guest is Dr. Gift Worlu. And my question was simple. What is wrong, or better yet, what is missing in Nigeria's democracy? Dr. Gift spoke in the previous hour, which has extended to this one, stating that everyone must take responsibility, the leader and the follower. And before we took the news, he was saying that we must look out for the factors affecting our own version of democracy. I believe that's the position you held.
Yes. And I was saying that understanding what democracy means and the conditions that will make it work. Because democracy is not only about elections. Election is just one of the pillars. You must talk about rule of law. You must talk about mass participation. You must talk about the press, a virile press that is able to hold people to account. There was something that the president said today during that his address that speaks to the true nature and meaning of democracy. When he talked about the fact that you can disagree with him and that it is incumbent on him to protect your right to disagree with him. And it makes a lot of sense. The many Nigerians who even claim to be Democrats or who want people to act democratically don't entertain contrary opinion. It is not only in government that people practice democracy. In organizations, in families, in our churches, do we practice democracy in those places?
In some of those places, democracy is not the system of government.
No. What's the system of government? Did they choose dictatorship?
In my family,
yes,
we don't run a democracy.
What do you run?
I will come up with what it is. Right?
No, you have to tell us,
doctor.
No, you have to tell us.
There are
because you can't practice. We can not all be practicing dictatorships in our homes, in our churches, in our organizations, and then when we come to government, the same people who have been immersed in that, this now want to practice democracy. It doesn't work like that.
Wait.
It means that we don't understand it.
You, I believe, are the head of your family, right?
Yes.
As I am.
Yes.
There are certain decisions that could be a consensus. Oh, it's a Sunday. We want to hang out as a family. We can generally say, okay, where do we go? Mother will have opinion, children will have opinion, and maybe the best one would win.
Yes.
But there are things that are not a consensus. There are some things in your house that
like what? Tell me now. Use your own example to tell us what is in your house that cannot be subjected to democratic decision.
There are things in your house that your word as the head of the family is law.
Yes.
There's no...
So why shouldn't there be things in Nigeria that Tinubu's word should be law?
No, because in Nigeria we practice democracy. In the family, it's not a democracy.
Sam,
it is a mix of...
Who is the head of Nigeria? You call him head of state, right?
Wait.
We call him head of state.
Wait.
But that is not the issue. What is important is that decision that has been made, either by you unilaterally or in agreement with other members of the family. Does this serve the interest of the family? That is what is important. And if you make decisions that, for example, if you earn money where you work, there is expectation that at the end of the day, if not all, a good chunk of that money should come into the family for medical bills, food, school fees, and so on and so forth. It's your decision to make.
Are elected, whether it's president, governor, local government chairman,
you are paying that too. You see, the part of the problem we have here is that the followers, why you are called follower, is because you are expected to follow. If the leader says go right, you go right. If he says go left, you go left.
If you left, go chop your head. Don't come.
Now listen. Why did you make him leader? If you will not trust his judgment, because he stops leading the point he says go right and you go left. He's no longer leading.
But you also know
that is why
what is right and what is left.
Listen, that is why
you're not following blindly.
That is why one of the things that every leader has is power. That power is the ability to what you want to do.
I don't agree with the word force. I don't agree with force.
It's not consequence. What happened in so wait, what are you? If you don't do what you not get. He also have they said that is gate. It is for you to to protest and then maybe later prove him wrong. But at that material point, he has the power to lock this gate, because if he doesn't do it, there are people who ask him questions.
Why, with the case of your leaders, even though you put them there and they have the power, you can remove them.
Correct? During elections.
So,
or through recall.
If they are not telling you to go that left, that you know very clearly is not the right place for you to go, you have the power to say, you know what,
Sam,
Oga, this is your power.
The problem we have, I've told you, is misunderstanding. When Mary was approached by, they wanted to have,
yeah.
Instead of Jesus talking about where they are going to get drinks, he said that you can bring water. Why did they not say, Oga, we are talking about drinks, we are not talking about water?
But they did not vote for Jesus now.
They didn't have to vote for him.
That's a different power.
They called him leader. You know, Jesus was a leader. Now they obeyed their leader, brought the water, and at the end of the day, they had wine.
Dr. Worlu, I don't know if you have sought.
If Tinubu says to us, go and bring water. Go and bring water. Don't argue with him. Go and bring water
Tinubu
first.
is not that kind of
bring
figure.
water. Bring water. That's followership.
Wait.
Bring water.
Dr. Worlu, let's say, for example, right? This is even this expert who is going to maybe so what he knows.
Yes.
Right?
So why not listen to him?
But that man in Choba, you didn't put him there.
Yeah, the man.
They told you he has a solution. So it's a different kind of system of government.
The man who we live in a country where some Nigerians, maybe not majority of Nigeria, but many Nigerians still don't see Tinubu as their president.
Yes, a lot of people.
They don't see Tinubu as their president.
Yeah.
So president to hear him. So if you don't hear him and you don't do what he has asked you to do, what do? There was a process that brought him to power. There was an election. He won. The election was contested in court, from tribunal, from for presidency, from appeal court, or presidential Supreme Court. They went to court, and he won. Having won, in a democracy, what you do is to respect that process and then begin to listen to him and see what you can do together to move the country and the people of the country forward. But if people are resistant, if people are insisting that, oh, he's not our president, we live in a country where some other people believe that Tinubu is their own president, is president for only them. The same way that people saw President Jonathan as their own president, and people saw Buhari as their own president, not president of Nigeria.
You see, Dr. Worlu, the thing is, there is experience to pull from. You understand? You have been in Uniport for a long time.
Yeah.
Which means that you have lived through different VCs.
Correct.
Very likely.
Correct.
So, if a new VC is currently in power, you can compare it to something. Yeah. There are things to compare him to. There are past leaders where you can say, oh, I used to buy a bag of rice for 10,000. Right? Where they say, I buy you liter for this. No. This guy's administration is A is B.
See, this issue, we have addressed it before.
You get?
And I told you that, look, if you were living in a house before, the house was leaking. The walls were cracked. The foundation was shaky and all that. The windows were broken. But at least there was a house.
Yeah.
You could cover yourself with duvet and have a sleep. That's one administration. Another administration comes and says, this house, if we even continue to live inside this place, this thing could collapse and kill all of us.
Okay.
So what do? Let's pull it down and build a new house. During that time, you may not have a house. Right? And maybe adequate provisions have not been made for where you should be staying and all of. So you will be discomforted. You will be unsettled during that period. But if you're a reasonable person, what do? You endure, because you know that at the end of the day, there's going to be a new structure that will be better than what was, and that will be more comfortable.
Okay.
That's, for me, what I think that Nigerians are not ready to do. I'm not saying that perhaps I am very sure, 100% certain that that's what the president and his team are doing. No, I'm not saying that. I'm only saying that Nigerians that I know
do not believe in process.
they don't believe. Yes, they don't believe in asking that question. Where are we now?
Okay.
And why are we here? And how can we get out of here? It is those questions that will make you to either endure or not to endure. But if you can't ask those questions and you can't effectively or appropriately answer them, then you will continue to live in cynicism. Oh, them. It's not going to work. Nothing works in Nigeria. Meanwhile, in that same Nigeria where nothing works, every day people are building houses.
Now, Doctor,
people are making money.
My response to what you've said is very similar to the response I had the last time you also said it. You need to look at two things. What promise did this person make? It is one thing to say, oh, the time you used to enjoy this lifestyle, things were different. We are now in the process of rebuilding.
Yes.
And so we must take these measures.
Yes.
Right? But ask yourself, what promise did they make? They promised to give you the best possible standard of life.
Not overnight.
No,
they didn't say they would do it.
They didn't say overnight.
Yeah, not overnight.
They promised it.
Yes.
Secondly, you need to remember that those promises are time bound. If nothing happens to the constitution of this country, Tinubu cannot stay 10 minutes past 8 years in office. Right?
Correct.
If nothing happens, after first term, he is very much allowed to run again. And if he wins, second term, and then he leaves.
Yes.
So that means that the promise of this man is, it has to be delivered within an 8-year time frame. In fact, 4 years, because the promise of the first term was for first term.
Yes.
So you are now looking and you are seeing that inside the 4 years, 2 don't go. I still don't have house. And it has to be delivered within when he will be in power. If 3 years go, 3 years, 6 months, you cannot blame me for beginning to be bothered.
Okay, Sam, let's look at it this way. How do you assess a president who comes on board and RG was somewhere 2%? It's now 3.4%. How do you assess a president? Because when you do was X on board and 100%. You assess a president because if these issues is it visible?
Yes.
People now look at the see when this aspect working. They start. And so let's not deceive ourselves. There is no government, there's no president that will come in this country and use 4 years to fix the many years of rot that Nigeria represents. No president will do it.
But if people had a better life in those many years of rot, you can see the irony, right? We agree that the damage was done through time.
Yes.
But in that time, life was... My goodness. Doc, we need to take calls. I promise that we're going to come back with taking calls, but see where we are. And the commercial break is coming up. 08179230002. I promise I will not talk again. I will just take your calls. 08179230003. Now remember, the question is, what is missing in our democracy? Please go straight to the point. I don't mean to rush you, but I need to take as many as I can. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Sam Shinedu Oracle.
Good evening, what's your name?
From Yenegua.
Gift, please go straight to the point.
Straight to the point. Let me just adopt and agree with everything that Dr. Gift Worlu have said in that studio.
Okay.
The truth of the matter is this. It is about we the people and our leaders. You cannot just drop everything at the people of the leadership. No. Especially to me in this country, it is even the followership that is the biggest problem.
Okay.
Like when he talked about Lishinga, of a tooth here in Bayelsa, these are things that are happening almost every time. You provide these tools at the end of the day, it is for beer. You will see the Afro beer.
All right, thank you very much. Give your time.
Good evening, Samal.
You have a minute.
Can let him get to try.
Right, go ahead.
95 belong to what he said. For him to say all Nigerians, no. I was in Zone 9 cell in 2017. A one-star policeman. He was there preaching the gospel. And then he told us that he's supposed to grow more than this rank. But
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Daniel. That's 1 minute. We take a break now. After that, I'll take calls. And I promise I will go straight to taking calls after the break. Stay with us. Fo Sam Oroguchinedu here, and I have Dr. Gift Worlu still right here with me. It's time to take your thoughts. When you call, give us your name and go straight to the point. You have just 1 minute. I need to take as many of those contributions as I can, so please stick to the time. Hello, good evening.
Hello, Sam.
Good evening. What's your name?
This is RTC calling from Ebumana.
All right, you have a minute. Please go ahead.
I disagree with your guess.
Okay.
Like one of the words, what they said concerning Nigeria not believing on the president. They make mention of Goodluck, Buhari, and Tinubu. And we don't have this possibility of everybody believing on the president, no matter who he is. For instance, the governor we had who has been suspended, many or some are saying he's good, and some are saying he's bad. Despite what they have been doing to effect positive change in the life of persons. Going to the issue of believing in Tinubu, I was one of them. I was one of those supported this removal of fuel subsidy, believing that what he said will certainly come to pass. Before now, he told us that the refinery will work. And we believe if this refinery works, price of fuel will come down. Instead, we are hearing that refinery is working. Instead of our fuel price to come down, the thing is skyrocketing.
All right, thank you very much. That's 1 minute. Lawson from Yenogwa, good evening.
Good evening, Sam. Evening, your guest. I don't know, somebody I follow a lot. He has spoken well. I agree with everything he has said. A lot of people don't understand. Most people just think the Nigerian problem is something you fix in even in 8 years. You cannot fix Nigerian problem. I see you, Sam, comparing it with two administrations. For instance, take Jonathan administration, take even Buhari administration that took over from him. Jonathan sold crude oil for up to $147 per barrel with a production rate of 1.2, 1.3 million barrels per day. Buhari, at his time, crude oil was $38 at some point, and production was a mere 800,000 barrels per day. How do you compare the two of them? Now, you take the case of the president, the current president. People say he promised this, he promised that. Now, when you look at it, if there is time difference, and mind you, Abdul Salami in his time sold a bag of rice for 700 naira, while under Jonathan, a bag of rice went to over 10,000.
Okay.
So you don't compare all of those things. And let me tell you something.
Thank you very much, Lawson. It's exactly 1 minute. Chris calls from HA. Hello, Chris.
Yeah, good evening, Chinedu.
Good evening. Please go ahead.
Yes. I quite agree with your guest because a lot of Nigerians think that you act like God. Let there be sun, let there be moon, it just appear overnight. Sam, I want to tell you that even if you are the one that you are giving the contract, let's say road for distance, it will take you time. You will clear the bush, you will do a visibility study, and at the end of the day, sometimes weather safe could even be another this thing, and machine that will do this thing. And at the end of the day, you cannot do it overnight. And again, what do you call? Oh, I've forgotten, sorry.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Chris. Chris used 45 seconds of his 1 minute. Mira from Akrika, good evening.
Hi, Sam, good evening.
Good evening.
Happy Democracy Day to you.
I wish you the same.
Well, Sam, I must commend the time you gave to your guests to convince us, that actually we need to be hopeful and that Tinubu has done well. But I would say you didn't convince me one bit, even if you had given him like 5 hours on the street. Now, where it totally missed it for me was when he used Jesus' illustration, when the mother said, whatever he tells you, do it. And again, I asked him, please, can you tell us, Nigerians, what Tinubu has asked us to do, for us to get a better Nigeria that we have not done? The only thing I've heard Tinubu said was, be patient with me. Yeah, he said it was it 2-3 weeks ago that we should be patient with him. But next he will go outside the country to France and tell the whole world what he has done what he has done, all his accomplishments that is not resonating with us here, the individual. So I totally don't know if you can highlight one or two things we've not done. That's why we're stopping like this. I really appreciate it, Sam.
Thank you, Mira. That's exactly 1 minute. Now, you will hear the voice of my guest when we are, rounding off, because now I'm trying to take calls. But to be clear, his position here today was not to convince you that Tinubu did good or bad. We were having a conversation around democracy and in explaining, how democracy should work and placing the appropriate blame to leader and follower. Some examples were cited, right? So I don't want anybody getting... The conversation today was that Dr. Worlu came to convince you that Tinubu, that's not what happened. Maybe a few points might have pointed in that direction, right? But the focus was what is missing in our democracy. Robin from HA, good evening.
Good evening, Oracle.
Go ahead.
I'm listening to Dr. our guest. Straight, I disagree with your guest in toto. For me, what is missing, like you have highlighted your own representation, what is missing in this democracy here in Nigeria today is rule of law, the absence of rule of law. The law is meant for the rich, for the poor, for everybody to obey. But under President Bola Tinubu, there's no rule of law. Which we fought the oath May 29 last year, 2003, when he took over office. When he came in as national leader of the party, in Rivers State here, they suspended the elected party chairman and appointed somebody against the party constitution. The state of the emergency declared in Rivers State does not meet the criteria provided in the constitution. He who blows the paper dictates the tool. So he pays the money, he decides.
Okay, Robin, that's a minute. Thank you very much. Hello, good evening.
Hello?
Good evening.
Evening.
What's your name?
Emeka from Elele.
All right, Emeka, please go ahead.
Please greet your guest in the studio.
Good evening.
Dr. Gift Worlu, I have been observing your comments every time you come to air. I don't know why you are supporting, or you always support a bad government. You are a lecturer. So why do you, a lecturer has a very good select. Don't put yourself into this APC party. The man, the APC federal government had disappointed us. They told us the man came on May 29, 2023 and removed subsidy and said he want to innovate the refinery. They went and imported fuel from another country. They now told Nigeria that the refinery is working. Why? They do things are lantern light, black light. No refinery is working. They imported fuel. That they deceive Nigerians.
Okay.
Up to now, they're still buying fuel.
Thank you very much, Emeka. Now, Dr. Gift, I will let you respond to that in 1 minute as well, because he spoke to you directly, very quickly.
Sam, I respect the right of every individual to agree or disagree. And that's what we are celebrating in democracy.
Indeed.
In a military system, you don't have a right to agree or disagree. You just have to follow what the leader says. Now, the argument here is not about who is right or wrong. You asked a pointed question. What is missing in our democracy? And I said the people. And I mean it. Now, let us assume, without conceding, that the President Tinubu and all the elected officials in Nigeria and all the arms of government have failed. Who are the people manning those offices? Are they not Nigerians? They are the people of Nigeria. Now, elected officials don't work alone. They work with civil servants.
Indeed.
Who are these civil servants? They are Nigerians.
Okay.
In your bulletin, you told us that Atahiru Jega, former INEC chairman, said that politicians bribe professors. The politicians are Nigerians.
Okay,
the
Doc.
professors are Nigerians.
Your 1 minute is up. Thank you very much. The leaders are 90% of our problem. Anytime we get sensible leaders, good things will start to happen. This is from Handsome, all the way from Aba. He sent this message on WhatsApp. Sam, what is missing is INEC and the judiciary. Kingdom says on WhatsApp. Hello, good evening.
Hello?
Good evening. What's your name?
Yeah. I'm Oracle.
What's your name?
Look a man from me.
Go ahead. You have a minute.
Yes, the matter that we are discussing, for me, we are not practicing democracy in Nigeria because a lot of things are lacking. You cannot take me in a democratic system of government, a governor that was elected the way you elected as a president. You woke up one morning and give order that it remains on suspension without any problem, without any crisis, without anything. A governor was doing his constitutional mandate, developing state, doing projects. Because of so problems, the assembly, based on personal interest, tell me that we're practicing democracy. No, now.
Okay.
Democracy is government of the people, by the people,
and for the people. Thank you very much. That's 1 minute. Gospar. Good evening, Gospar.
Good evening, my brother Sam.
Good evening. Please go ahead.
Yes, I'm Ayeba Gospar.
All right.
My greetings to your guest in the studio.
Good evening.
Yes, Sam.
Yep.
One thing about your guest in the studio is that whenever he appears before your radio station and other stations, he always say it the way it is. You know, and these are the kind of people we want in this state and in Nigeria. Talking about democracy and how far we've gone and what is wrong and what is right. Sam, I would say that the problem we are having in Nigeria today is two things. Number one is we the people. And number two is our institution. We the people, instead of analyzing and addressing issues, we want to address personalities and attach emotions.
All right, Gospar. I love that you take your time, but that's 1 minute. JJ from Rumibo. Hello, JJ.
Yeah, Sam, good evening, and let me greet your guest in the studio.
Good evening.
There is a saying that the type of life the people live is solely determined by the government. Sam, if they are declared curfew today and say nobody should come out, I doubt if you will be in that studio right now and your guest won't be in the studio.
Mm-hmm.
So when you ask what is missing, I will tell you is the government political will to do whatever they want to do. Today they talk about China having a one-party state and now. Who made it possible? He talked about Tuari and all those. They determine, they do whatever they want to do for the people. They have their whatever, and they put the people through and guide the people along. It's either you bend or you break and you just move on. After all, we were here when the president went to buy presidential jet. Did anybody approve? No. He can decide that we will create borehole in every compound. We want to run this or that. The political will is not there. It's not about the people. People are even the people that are suffering
all right,
from the maladministration from these people.
That's 1 minute. Thank you very much. Obed from Port Harcourt. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Sam.
Go ahead.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sam. Mr. Sam, I think you have said this thing before. You have nailed this. The problem we have in our democracy is that they are representative. But your guests here make a very a point, which of course he happens to be part of the people who have actually been the problems of the current democracy we have. Your guest resigned because he was following somebody who was not going the same way with the governor. He resigned. And he happened to be part of such problems. And we have blinded followers. But we must tell ourselves the truth. The fact remains that the chunk of the blame goes to those at the helm of affairs. They fail to do the needful. So what are you expecting followers to do? Is the followers they want to be able to amend some section of electoral act to make our electoral process viable? No, of course. So your follower has made his point, but I tell you, He is part of the problem
All
we are
right.
facing today.
Thank you very much, Obed. And that is our final call. Another minute. My goodness. Maybe I might continue this system because we took a lot of calls. Dr. Worlu, we are down to this point. I'm sure there's a lot you want to respond to and react to.
Something. Where he said that he slightly disagrees with me and went ahead to say that not all Nigerians are part of the problem, but
5%.
maybe 95% are part of the problem and only
5%.
5%, yes.
They're not.
And that tells you clearly what we're experiencing. In a democracy, if you had a vote and there's a contest between 95% and 5%, you know who will win. And when 95% of bad people, let's assume, win the election, the outcome cannot be good. And that's why I'm saying that Nigerians, you see, it is okay for people to say, oh, they are not practicing democracy in Abuja or Brick House in Port Harcourt or whatever local government council. But in our homes, in our businesses, in our schools, in our social organizations, do we practice democracy there? That's one question. The other part is that there is no magic that anybody can do to fix Nigeria. Nigerians must at some point agree that things have gone south and that we need to pull together. First of all, we must agree that, okay, since we are practicing democracy, at the end of every election, people go to court, whatever. After that, whatever is the final outcome, we accept it. And then begin to listen to our leaders to get what policies they are putting out and how we can key in. And there are a lot of good policies from government, from time, not even this government, from the time of Jonathan, Buhari, even during military rule. Some people capitalize on those good policies, and today they are on the other side of the money equation.
Okay.
And they are doing well. But some other people, because of cynicism, because of lack of belief, they have remained where they are. Let us as a people begin to work to understand democracy and the things that are expected of us as citizens to do. Because today, it is one person. Tomorrow, it will be another person. So many years ago, Tinubu used to stay on the side of the people to say that, oh, we need to protest because of against government policy and all of that.
Yeah.
Now he's the president. People are protesting against him. When he's out, other people, somebody will come and people will still continue to protest.
Right,
but what is important is that let us know what our duties and responsibilities are.
Thank you very much, Dr. Worlu, for your time. It's been 2 hours of of battling for democracy. And these conversations are always...
And we hope that some democracy survives.
Yes, indeed. We do hope so. The conversations are always worthwhile. We appreciate you for making the time, sir.
Thank you very much. God bless you.
Have a wonderful day.
You too.
All right. Coming up at 6 is the major news. After that, it's open season. Stay with us.